Hello, everybody. Let me make sure that I have my stuff here. Jeez. Surprise for a new intro, or at least a holiday-specific intro of the broadcast. But hello, and welcome to another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader and EFT practitioner. That's tapping. Demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. And this episode of the live stream, we were talking about Yule. Now, we have talked about Yule a number of times over the last 3 years of me doing this pretty much on a weekly basis, every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hold on a second. Let me drop in that crawler just to remind people of we do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I was kind of at a loss for what we should talk about this week. But then I realized, like, my coven is celebrating Yule tomorrow, and let's revisit some of the episodes that we have done in the past for Yule, and also talk about how we celebrate the winter holidays. I mean, if you celebrate Hanukkah, welcome. You are completely welcome to this broadcast. If you celebrate Christmas, welcome. You're completely welcome to this broadcast. Kwanzaa, don't know a lot about Kwanzaa either, but if you do celebrate, welcome to this broadcast. Let us know what you celebrate and why, and the different traditions that go along with it. But what I celebrate is Yule. So, and we've got a number of episodes on Yule. I was just like looking back in the past episodes, and starting to put together some Yule stuff. And also I found a really cute spread from Ethany that she produced a number of years ago, but hey, it'll still work. And it's called the Yule Tarot spread. And I think it's a 3-card spread. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that, and possibly that might be the spread that we use for the mid-episode reading. If that sounds good to you, let me know. But yeah, so Sophia is here. Hello, Sophia. Katie is here. Hello, Katie. Welcome to the broadcast. I also need to double check that the tube of you is working. So let me go ahead and do that. And I also did not come up with a fancy overlay this time around. So let me go ahead and do that too while I think about it, because that is pretty easy to do. Put up my little overlay with my QR code. Let me see here. Yeah, I did one last week for the live stream. So easy to update, very easy to update. Yule 2022. Cool. Yeah, let me go ahead and download that. Transparent background. Through the magic of Canva, I can do that really, really quickly. And also, I've been working on the latest mid-month newsletter, and I have a discount for half off EFT sessions for newsletter subscribers. But if you are watching this here video, whether live or whether on the replay, if you have not done an EFT tapping session, I would really encourage you to do it, because like seeing is believing. I can talk about tapping until I'm blue in the face, but until you experience a tapping session with a certified EFT practitioner like myself, you really won't see what the big deal is. So I've decided to put that offering, those sessions, half off for one-on-one sessions. Those are done over Zoom, and they're about an hour in length, and replayability is amazing. Like, you can return to a tapping session again and again and again and move some stuff around as long as it feels resonant for you. When it no longer feels resonant for you, then you can move on to a different tapping session. But personalized tapping sessions on like issues that you work on like with a certified EFT practitioner, amazing. And I think the people that are in watching live right now have done an EFT tapping session with me, were some of my guinea pigs while I was in my training for my certification, and they can also vouch for the power of tapping if you'd like to if you'd like to ask them about it. Yeah. Oh, so Katie is confirming that the tube of you is working and that you're watching there on the big TV whilst typing here. Very nice. Multitasking. I like it, Katie. And Sophia is saying, shit works. I wish assume about tapping. Once I have some disposable income, I need to book another session. I mean, honestly, now's the time because I'm going to be offering these. The discount code expires January 31st, and I just set it. So I'm going to drop that in here. And the discount code is GALA. So it's pretty easy to remember. And of course, I put all of this information into my newsletter, and I don't have my newsletter open right now. So let me see if I can remember the code. I swear I created a code for it. Actually, did I put it into my drive? Did I put it into my documents? I think I did. Let me take a look. Because if I can get that link for you now, I will. Also, this is in honor of the new cohort. Yes. I got it. I got it. I am actually organized. I'm organized. Would you believe it? I am. And Katie is also saying, absolutely vouch for tapping. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to dump this into here. Okay. And I'll display it in a second. Yes. Here we go. So, like I was saying before, in the spirit of showing rather than telling, I'm offering EFT tapping one-on-one sessions half off, starting now until January 31st, 2023. So you can, so I provided a link, actually. Oh, oopsie. And it's probably not clickable because I didn't put a space in between. Hold, please. I created a specific link to take you straight to EFT sessions. So you can book and use the code GALA, GALA, while checking out, where you put in discount code and click apply, and then the price should drop down to 50% off, and then go ahead and book it. So, and this is the link. So tarotbyhilary.as.me/tapping. That is a direct link to my Acuity scheduler, which is my online scheduling app that I have integrated it into my website. So you can find the tapping sessions just as easily by going to my main website, tarotbyhilary.com. And then if you click on the top navigation where it says EFT tapping, it gives you my landing page for more information about EFT, some testimonials, my process, if you want to take a look at that. And if you scroll down on that page, you will see that integration for booking a one-on-one tapping session. And then all of the rest of what I just said to you applies. Put in discount code GALA for half off a tapping session, and then go to it and book your session. And yeah, let's see how it goes, because honestly, that's what I was realizing. I'm just like, seeing is believing. I can talk about tapping until I'm blue in the face, but you're never going to understand how powerful it is until you see it for yourself. And if you want to like see if it's for you for free before booking a session with anyone, there are so many videos online that you can check out. Just search EFT tapping or the emotional freedom technique tapping or tapping scripts. I have an entire playlist on the Tube of You that has labeled EFT tapping scripts or videos. Many of them are from Gala Darling herself, where I got my EFT certification from. There's some from Brad Yates. There's some from Tap Into Magic, who is a fellow Gala Darling Method graduate. She graduated with me in the spring. So all of the people that I'm directing you to are like legitimate tapping sensations. So I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to tapping. But we're not here for tapping tonight, folks, unless, of course, you want to tap on like holiday stress or whatever. Like I could be open to it. But what we're here for is Yule and talking about Yule. Speaking of that, let me add my overlay, which I have not made green in honor of Yule, but I have updated to include that it is Yule that we're talking about. Have the agenda on the side. Here we go. I don't know. I'm starting to feel like naked without the overlay, without the sidebar. What about you guys? Let me plug in my computer. I realize that I'm at 50% power. That would not be good if I ran out of juice in the middle of the live stream. There we go. Light was a little too bright. Yes, I'm very willing to tap because I have my water right here too. And if I put that in my cup holder, it will break because this is a heavy glass bottle full of water. Anyway, you're seeing it here first for the discount code. All right. Is everyone ready for the first part of the episode, which is the astro-weather from Therese Reed's wonderful AstroBiz Digest, which is meant for entrepreneurs and business owners, but I have found to be incredibly helpful in planning my personal life? If so, please give me a hell yeah in the chat and let me know. I'm also going to put on the little comment snake feature because it's super cute and I like it. Can also put up sticky notes. I wonder the last time wow. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've used the sticky notes. Let's see. I'll make this bigger. Guess not. It's cute though. Meh. You all know where to find me. Take that sticky note off. I will say the follow. Follow me. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Make sure that you click on the, wow, that is large. Click the bell. Click the bell, subscribe wherever you are watching this, even if you're watching the replay. All right. So Katie is saying, go, Astro, go. And I am going to go ahead and provide the info for the AstroBiz Digest. It is doesn't work great with the overlay, but I'll just show you there really quickly. $99 subscription for the year. And you can purchase that for yourself by going to thetarolady.com/AstroBiz Digest. The link is in the chat, but don't go there right now. Wait until after the broadcast, please and thank you. All right. I could have sworn that I had my email already up, but I guess I didn't. All right, let me let this load. Okay. All right. Astro Biz Digest Weekly Forecast for December 12th to the 18th. So as usual, when I give the astrology from Teresa Reed's Astro Biz Digest, I give what's going on generally during the week, any transits that might be big during the week, and then I provide you the information for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because we don't want to give away the farm. We want to be able to support Teresa's work. And if you are interested, if the astrology makes sense to you, if you're liking what you're hearing, you can go ahead and purchase a subscription to the AstroBiz Digest for yourself. And the link, again, is in the chat if you want to do so. Because, I want to be able to highlight Teresa's work without giving it away for free. So let's see what we've got going on. This week is a bit quieter in the cosmos, which means you can get plenty done before the holidays. So no big things to report. And besides, Mars is still in retrograde until the middle of January. That's the big one that's been going on for a couple of months now, I believe. That means you want to watch your words all month long, think before you speak, tweet, hit send, or respond to comments. You don't have to get involved in every debate. Other than that, the week is pretty quiet overall. Now, for Friday, business intuition is on point when the moon trines Pluto at 9:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Trust your instincts when making decisions. You'll be sharper than a brand new razor blade at that time. And that is, by the way, the reason why I set my newest podcast episode to publish at exactly 9:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is the beauty of the AstroBiz Digest. That is how I use it as a business owner and entrepreneur. I take that information. I'm just like, oh, well, I have to send out my podcast this Friday anyway. Might as well do it at a time that astrologically makes sense and is beneficial. That's how I use it. That's a great practical example of how I use the AstroBiz Digest. All right. Going on, the moon tours relationship-focused Libra for most of the weekend, beginning at 2:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Network, connect with your audience, strengthen partnerships, and dine with your team. It's all about the we now. Act like you know. Friday, today, December 16th, 2022, is a power day for Virgo and a weak day for Pisces. So does that make sense to everyone, especially my practical example there before we move on to Saturday and Sunday? Because I'm like thirsty. It's warm in here and I'm like dry. Okay. I'm just going to hold this. I'm going to hold my water bottle close to my heart as I'm reading this. All right. So for Saturday has a few astrological bumps. The Moon-Venus square at 8:28 p.m., the Moon-Chiron opposition at 1:29 p.m., and the Moon-Mercury square at 8:26 p.m., all Eastern Standard Time. During those spots, miscommunication is possible. Also, energy vampires will ignore your boundaries. Zip up your aura, avoid meetings around those time slots, and you'll cruise through this day beautifully. Mercury trine Uranus at 4:37 p.m. sets the best table for online marketing, newsletter blasts, and high-level meetings with your team. Use it wisely and then close up shop for the night. So that's Saturday. Sunday's Moon-Saturn trine at 6:31 a.m. is a sweet reason to get out of bed and tackle business conundrums. You can forge strong connections with your community through live streams or newsletters if you're up at that time. A wonderful time for meetings or travel happens when the moon sextiles the sun at 5:03 p.m. If you're trying to negotiate a win or are flying the friendly skies, you should be able to get what you want. Finally, rest up with the void moon at 5:35 p.m. This is your cosmic timeout, a chance to chill over a nice meal or a good book. At 10:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, La Luna will slither into sexy Scorpio, the best lunation for top secret sales, strategizing, financial planning, and getting it on. It's Sunday, so let's put the latter at the top of the agenda. Everything else can wait until Monday. Really. Both days, Saturday and Sunday, are power days for Libra and weekdays for Aries. So not a great weekend for Aries, folks. And you know that I'm a triple Aries, so sometimes that is felt more than usual for me. But that is the Astro Biz Digest, the astrology for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to open up the floor for if your Monday was a little bit weird, or your Tuesday or your Wednesday. Like, let me know if you had an off day this week, and I will quickly consult the AstroBiz Digest before we move on to our main topic of tonight's episode, which is talking about Yule and revisiting some Yule episodes that we've done in the past. And while I'm waiting, I will monitor the chat and take a look at my Tube of You channel so that I can get that information together for you. And I know that it's working on the Tube of You because I can see it. I can see it working. So, by the way, really quickly, if you want to revisit any of the episodes that I'm going to reference tonight, you can just go to my Tube of You. So that would be youtube.com/@tarot by Hilary or /Hilary Tarot. I think you can get to it either way. I did claim my handle on the Tube of You. So, and if you go there, there is a search feature. Just find the little search icon and you can type in whatever keyword you want. If you've been wondering, you know, does Hilary have an episode on tapping? Yes, I have two. So you can just put in the search bar tapping and those videos will come up for you. Or, you know, specific tarot videos like court cards or the major arcana or the 5s and 7s of the tarot or spirit boards or charm casting or charming a tarot card. And I'm just giving like real examples of past episodes that we've done because we've done quite a few in the years together. So, and then by the way, this QR code that's on the top of the sidebar, in case you weren't here before, is a QR code that goes straight to my website, tarotbyhilary.com. So you can either use the quick QR code or you can just type in your search bar, tarotbyhilary.com, Hilary with 1 L, take you right there to my website if you want to book a reading with me or book an EFT session with me. They're 50% off if you use the code GALA. Okay, I am monitoring the chat and I'm not seeing any stuff for revisiting the week for astrology. So speak now or forever hold your peace, or just say like, I'm ready for Yule in the chat and we'll move on to Yule. Because I've got these videos ready. Oh my God, we have talked about Yule 3 times already. And also we have a Sabbath series playlist too. So you've got plenty of things to choose from there. Oh yeah, and this would actually be helpful. I'm just going to click on the full playlist for the cross quarter. So if you are Australian, if you are living in the Southern Hemisphere, you will not be celebrating Yule at this time. You might be celebrating something different. So it's a cross quarter. And I wish I had my copy of the real witches year, or the witches year. The wheel of the witch's year, so I can tell you off the bat what the cross quarter Sabbath is, but I'm sure we'll find that information in one of 3 episodes on Yule. There's a lot. So Sophia is saying Yule. Katie is saying Yule, please. So this episode is actually something that I wanted to do along with another type of video that I might not do live, that I might actually like record and then put it up. But like I've been seeing a lot of like reaction videos where influencers or, personalities or live streamers watch videos and react to them. And I was just like, I can do that. I kind of want to do that. But then I was just like, but how can I do that in a way that will also be educational? And I was just like, oh, well, maybe I can react to my own videos, which we can definitely do because there's quite a few of them to choose from. So I am going to start with, let's see. First of all, we do have the Sabbath series playlist. There's 9 videos, and 2 of those 9 videos are on Yule. And technically speaking, there's 3. There's 3. I have 3 videos on Yule, and this will make it probably 4. So I don't know why. I don't know why that is. Maybe it happens to be my favorite Sabbath. I didn't think that was the case, but I'm going to go ahead and drop that link into the chat just so you see it. But that is the full playlist on the Tube of You. If you are looking for information on all 8 of the Sabbats in the pagan year or the witches' year. Information on all of those are available, both generic information, both secular information, if you're not a deity-focused kind of person, and also how I personally celebrate some of those Sabbats. So there you go. Hope you enjoy that. And let's see. I'm going to hide this. I'm going to, I think the widget, I think the snake, the comment snake can stay up there. And I'm going to remove everything else so that we can actually do this. Hold on. Not that one. It's very, very meta. Okay, so back to my search for Yule. Let's see. 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and 11 months ago. How is that possible? That I have 2 like back to back to back. I don't know. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and copy that and then go backwards. Okay. Whew. Lots of videos on Yule. It's fascinating. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to be horrified or delighted by this, but we'll see. We'll see what I have to say. We're not going to be able to watch all of these because it's going to be a very long night if we do so, but let's just see the highlights. Oh, I have to put on the volume. Hi, everybody. It is that time of the night on a Friday night, and that means it's another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com. My website is right there for your perusal. You already know that. And people were asking me about planners. Okay. So encouraging to get this in the mail, and as you'll see in a minute or two, you benefit from it. One lucky listener or viewer will benefit from this. So doesn't apply anymore. This was 2 years ago. Teresa sent me Susan Hyatt's It's Go Time planner. Look at this. Isn't it gorgeous? And it has all these tabs and it has stickers in the front, and it has all of this inspiration and appreciation and letting go, and of course the calendar itself. So this is for the year 2020. So thank you very, very much, Teresa. I really appreciate it and I love it. And I think it's super, super interesting. And it's like, I can whack people over the head with it if I'm. Spoiler from 2022, December 2022, Hilary. I barely used that planner because we all know what happened in 2020. Which is a real shame. And if you're wondering what planners I'm going to be using for 2023, which is something that usually comes up in the Yule episode because the Yule episode happens in December, I can tell you it's Passion Planner. Those have been the planners that I've been using for, I don't know, many, many years. So I think I don't know what past Hilary, what planner she's given away there. But it was probably a passion planner. It may have been something else. It might have been a desire map planner, something like that. Yeah, exactly, Sophia. I had a wasted Habonichi from that year. I don't know what a Habonichi is, but you can let us know in the chat. But like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was just like, 2020 is gonna be my year, and it's just like, not quite, right? I'm pretty sure you all can hear past Hilary too. Let me know if you can't. Let's continue. Feeling sassy as well, so I love it. Thank you so much. Mwah. Here's the good thing for you guys, though. So, because I just received this, and I am a planner junkie, and I do. Yeah, I was right. So I think I gave away a pink passion planner in favor of that one. And yeah, Katie says save it till the year that repeats the same calendar since it probably is empty. Oh, that's a really good idea, Katie. Also, Passion Planner has undated calendars so that if you're like not consistent with your with like using a secular year calendar, you can always purchase an undated one from Passion Planner. And by the way, it's passionplanner.com. Pretty easy to remember. So let me drop it into the chat. But that is a really, really great idea, Katie. And I do still have that Susan Hyatt Go Big calendar that I'm talking about. I do still have it. I didn't throw it out. It has not gone anywhere. So good tip. Good tip there. Ooh. Gorgeous Japanese planners you'd love. I don't need any more. Sophia is like the devil tempting me. Planner.com. I'm just going to drop the link for passionplanner.com, but let's continue because I'm wondering, I don't even remember who won that. Like to plan out my life on pen and paper, even though I do have, my my online scheduling system, and so most of the stuff that I have on my calendar is also backed up online as well as pen and paper. So I love Passion Planner, and if you're interested in all of this and planning your year ahead for 2020, you really want to go back and watch. Not last week because I took a personal day last week, but the last episode that we did was goal setting with the tarot and also talking about your year card, calculating your tarot card for the year 2020. So it's called Goal Setting with the Tarot. Go back into my archives wherever you're watching this. I promise you it's there. And tune into that because I do talk a little bit about planners and then using that information about what your tarot card is for the year 2020 and putting that in a prominent place in your planner, in the front or the back or whatever of your planner, so that you can refer back to it often when you were going through that year to see how that tarot card's energy is manifesting in that year. And man, my past self was wise because I'm kind of doing that right now. Like I haven't calculated my year card, my personal year card for the year 2023. But I know really quickly off the top of my head that we're in a 10-year cycle right now for the general year card. And so 2022 was the lover's year. And 2023 by extension is going to be a chariot year, because 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7. So that's the chariot in the tarot. So that's the general year card for 2023. But I would really like past Hilary with the blonde hair says, if you want to really up your planning and your manifestation and, you know, like your planner work or your daily calendar work, you want to calculate your personal card and then put it in a prominent place in your planner or your calendar to be able to see that and continue to work with that energy all year long. And how to calculate that is just go into the Tube of You, youtube.com/Hilary Tarot or at Tarot by Hilary, either will work. And then go into the search bar and write goal setting, and the video should come up for you. So revisit that video. And yes, Katie said, Sophia the Temptress. That sounds so pretty. Definitely. All right. And how that the events of that year are reflecting that tarot card. So for example, I am going into a chariot year in the year 2020. So I have a feeling it's going to be a very, very busy year for me, and also having a lot of things in the fire. That's and just a lot of things to wrangle, but in a good way, and like a major up-leveling kind of year. So
not in the way I thought.
That's the reason why I was talking about planners. So this is the Passion Planner for the year 2020 with the Monday start date. Well, a Monday, like in the week, you can have a Sunday start or a Monday start. I prefer the Monday start. So keep that in mind, but it has all the specifications right here on the front. For 2020, it's medium size, Monday start, and it's a 12-month dated planner from Passion Planner. And it's really, really excellent. And if you want more information about this, you can go to passionplanner.com. I can also put the link in the chat later on. Just let me know, say link, say I want to know about that Passion Planner, or you can even Google it, but I'm happy to give you that information. So, but the reason why I'm talking about, by the way, so this one was this year's 2022's Passion Planner. This is what I used. And I was pretty good at working with it, writing things down, especially because I got sticker books also from Passion Planner. So it made it pretty, made it fun to work with. Tried to put in as many of my appointments as possible so that I could really, like, you know, see things. I got like a space one. I got an astrology sticker book. Like here, the week I left on vacation, I like the Monday, July 25th, I did laundry. So there was a little sticker that says did laundry, little like prize sticker. And then I wrote in space of infinite possibility, bon voyage, it's vacation time. So, you know, different weeks were better than others, but always like coming back to it and not like beating myself up about it. So. Like for example, and I think some of you are already familiar with the planners that I use, the Passion Planners that I use, because I also write down the topics for the live stream in those planners in like the monthly overview. So like, for example, for December, I've got December 2nd, unboxing the Disney Villains Tarot, because that's what we did. I didn't write anything down for the 9th because I just did a live stream with no specific topic. And then for today, the 16th, I haven't written anything down because I just came up with it today, but it's Yule. So I will go backwards and write all of that down. But that is my Passion Planner for 2022. And then for 2023, I have it all ready to go. And this is my celestial one. And I think this is the large size. I'm not quite sure. So, but you got to use what works for you. If you're not a paper and pencil kind of person, then like that's fine, but use your online calendar if you want to. About this, folks, this is going to be the giveaway for tonight. This one right here. You are going to get
I used to do giveaways.
passion planner. I believe the cost is $35 value, but you are going to get this. One person is going to get this absolutely free, and I will send it to you. If you are in the United States, I will ship this out to you. So one lucky person is going to win this tonight if you stay tuned for the entire broadcast, okay? Because
it's a good idea, though.
Teresa gave me this planner, and I had already planned ahead. Get it? Planned ahead.
All right,
and bought this planner. We don't have any winners, and if we don't have any takers for this giveaway, then I'm going to find a lucky person to give this away to in my own personal life. So take full advantage. You want this planner. It's a really, really good planner. I've been using Passion Planner for at least 3 to 4 years now. So I like it. Anyway, on to the main topic of tonight's workshop. We're talking about Yule. We're talking about winter solstice. So the winter solstice traditionally happens on around December 21st, 22nd, 23rd, sometimes December 20th. So it's around that range. And I'm going to read for you a little bit about the winter solstice from Phyllis Curot's book, Book of Shadows. A Modern Woman's Journey into the Wisdom of Witchcraft and the Magic of the Goddess. So this was originally published in 1998. And I really enjoyed this book. I've read it a number of times at this point, but so part of it is a primer about modern witchcraft, and part of it is her memoir of her first days, her first introduction into the craft, and just the different celebrations of the seasons, the different celebrations of different goddesses. What is it like to be initiated? Some recommended spells, but it's mostly a memoir of what was going on in her life that brought her to the craft, and what was going on in her life as she was a novice to the craft.
Oh, okay. We have a first timer here. So welcome, Ellie. Welcome to the broadcast. We're talking about Yule, the winter solstice, different celebrations, and I'm revisiting past episodes of this year live stream. So if you have any questions about Yule or the winter solstice, feel free to drop them into the chat. Hi. Hi, I'm totally here. I was just listening to my past self.
So, in the back of this book, it has a few different resources on different books that she recommends, and different spells, charms, and magical potions. But here, we want to talk about the Wheel of the Year. When someone talks about the Wheel of the Year, they mean the cycle of the year. We have spring, summer, winter, fall, and we have different celebrations during those seasons and during those months. So the Wheel of the Year are the names of, so it's the names of the Sabbats, and their explanations that following are from the Celtic tradition. So a lot of the stuff that we see in modern witchcraft, it's not necessarily old. It's not necessarily ancient. Modern witchcraft really is a hodgepodge of belief systems. And we can't say, that this is like the oldest craft in the world or anything like that. It is, quite frankly, a modern religion, but based upon ancient belief systems, if that makes sense. So let me know if that makes sense in the chat, and I'll go on. So There are numerous parallels to the Greek and Italian traditions, the Celtic traditions. Sometimes they vary according to the differences in planting cycles and agriculture, since we were so connected to the land and the crops that fed us and the animals that fed us if we were hunters. And not only that, I was just doing some reading for my priestess training, and it's not just about Greek, Italian, Celtic traditions in the planting cycles or the seasons. It is also based upon the stars, the constellations, the astrological component that comes along with the seasons as well. So, in the Wheel of the Year, we consider, and by we, I mean witches or other people that believe in my belief system, we believe that Samhain is kind of the witches' new year, and that's October 31st, aka Halloween. So that's the first Sabbath. So we're now coming into the winter solstice, which is December 21st, the longest night of the year, aka Yule. So I'm going to read straight from the book here. If you want to pick this up, I believe it's a really great book. She also has a sequel to this called The Love Spell, which is also kind of a memoir style writing. And then I believe she has a more nonfiction how-to book called Witchcrafting, if I'm remembering correctly. But the author is Phyllis Cura, okay? So Yule, December 21st, Yule is the winter solstice, the longest night of the year. It is celebrated as the festival of light, where the great goddess conceives, or in some traditions, gives birth to her son, the sun god. It is the Sabbath for rejoicing in the discovery of light and new life within the womb of darkness, as each day now grows brighter. Appropriated in the 6th century CE, Common Era, by the Christian calendar, when the official birthday of Christ was moved to December 25th. So that is one witch's version of what Yule is, okay? But in so many other traditions, there are stories, legends that go along with Yule about the turning of the season. In our particular coven, because I do have a coven, I'm not a solitary practitioner, at least not anymore. We have a retelling or a battle or a reenactment of a battle between the Oak King that rules the warmer months and the Holly King that rules the winter months into spring. And they are brothers. And one has to either battle the other to gain supremacy, or sometimes in different years, we've had the Oak King laying down their arms and going to sleep, or gracefully yielding their throne to their brother, the Holly King. So that's one of the traditions that we reenact during Yule. Another tradition happening tomorrow in my coven. The oak and the holly have been selected, and we don't we let it be the energy of the oak, the energy of the holly, and however that person wants to identify. If they want to identify as the holly king, the holly queen, the holly queer, we've had all sorts of designations. So that's happening tomorrow. Tradition that we have. Another tradition that we have, there was a talk about the light within. We call it the child of promise, that light within. We usually light candles from off of the altar to symbolize our light within, especially when it becomes so important during the winter months, during the cold, the snow, the barrenness, where you feel, and the darker days. You need a little bit of light to remind you that the sun shall shine again, and it's coming back. So it's actually interesting to note that on December 21st, on the winter solstice, that is the longest night of the year. which means that after that point, the days are getting longer again. So it is a time of growing brightness, even though it doesn't seem like that to our minds, because sometimes it is bitterly cold and sometimes very gray out and snowy. It is actually the light returning. There is more hours of daylight rather than nighttime after the winter solstice. In history, there were certain traditions that would happen around Yule, such as telling scary stories. So we actually just recently did this at our Yule celebration, which was on December 15th. So we try and get our Yule celebration as close to the actual winter solstice as possible, as people's schedules allow too.
We're going to be telling scary stories tomorrow too.
Retold some scary stories in the tradition, or the historical tradition, and we were trying to bring that back again. What else? Creating garlands of cranberries, having a tree even is a little bit of a pagan nod to putting wishes on the tree for them to come true, for them to be affirmed and blessed by the child of promise. That's another Yule tradition. And also, the main reason why I'm talking about Yule today is it was a time of prophecy. It was a time of divination. And the reason why that is, I think, is because in the secular calendar, we're about to embark on a new year. So what better time of the year, of the ending of that year, for divination, for prophecy, to see what the new year has in store for everyone so that we can plan better. So I feel as if Yule has it's a wonderful segue into planning out your new year and your New Year's celebrations, and doing that divination on Yule or on the winter solstice, to be able to get your prophecy, get your information, so that by the time the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Eve, you've got a game plan ahead of you. You don't need to be doing all that planning on January 1st, because you've already done it ahead of time using the tool of the divination during the winter solstice. So if that makes sense to everyone, please give me a hell yeah in the chat.
And I'm going to go ahead and pause it there, because I think this is a great segue into the mid-episode reading, because I have a specific spread that I found from Ethany. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this and note that we were at like minute 23, but also we have another video to look at. So thank you, Blonde Hilary, from the end of 2019, I believe it was. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that and go ahead and put in the mid-episode reading, and also share with you something that Ethany shared. Gosh, I think it's a couple of years ago, but let me go ahead and show the spread that I would love to do for someone for the mid-episode reading. So it's a little bit different tonight. I'm not going to just be pulling 3 cards willy-nilly, no spread defined. I'm going to actually be using a Yule tarot spread from Ethany. So let me go ahead and show that. Just quickly downloaded this while we were watching. So it's a 3-card spread. Let me go ahead and move. Let me hide this for a second. Oh, good. There's nothing up top there. Good. Perfect. That works out very well. So Ethany shared this spread, and I'm going to go ahead and read from the blog post that I found this on. But she shared this on December 19th of 2014. So that's how long ago it is that she shared this. But I'm sure this Yule spread is amazing. So It is that time of year that many religions and spiritual paths celebrate the birth of sun deities and the turn of the wheel that sees the days slowly but surely getting longer. And I'm going to go ahead and share the link to this blog post in case you want to read it for yourself. So that's in the chat for you. Yule carries the themes of death and rebirth, reflection, being generous with others, less fortunate, and being the light in the darkness. It is a joyful time of year as there are many celebrations and parties to be part of, and the theme of community and charity run through many different spiritual paths. It is a midwinter tradition to watch the sunrise, which signifies the sun god returning. And while many of us in the modern world are unable to spend a whole night in silent vigil waiting for the sun to rise, we can spend a little time getting in touch with our intuition and honor this turning point in the sacred wheel of the year. So Ethany says, I have a Yule tarot spread for you all that you can do with your favorite tarot or oracle deck. And I hope you enjoy working with the tarot spread. And I wish you and your families all the joy, good health, and prosperity for this time of year. May we be the light of someone's day in the season of the darkest night. So the 1, 2, and 3 are labeled rebirth, midnight, and gift. So I will explain the positional meanings here. I'll also go ahead and quickly share that link. So it's just ethany.com/Yule tarot spread. And yeah, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I haven't tried out the spread yet. So we're going to try it out together for a lucky winner of the mid-episode reading. We haven't done the picker wheel yet, and I haven't given you the keyword yet, but I'm going to do it in a second after I explain all 3 positions. And if you want to go ahead and take a screenshot of this, go ahead and do so that you know how to do it for yourself if you'd like to, or just go ahead and follow the link to the Ethany's website, and you can do it on your own if you'd like to. So Yule, number 1, rebirth. The mythology around Yule is that of rebirth. Whether it is the rebirth of a sun god or the dueling holly and oak kings, birth, death, and rebirth are an important theme or important themes of Yule. This position in the Yule tarot spread is about your personal rebirth. What is being awakened in you after a long slumber? What is going to be gaining momentum as the days grow longer? The second position is midnight. Yule is the longest night of the year. What does darkness mean to you? Are you afraid of the dark or the darkness in you? Does the witching hour call you? This position in the Yule tarot spread is meant for contemplation. What is in ourselves that we fear to shed light on? And finally, the third position is the gift. Gift giving is a large part of Yule and other seasonal celebrations this time of year. What is your gift? Do you hide your gifts and talents for fear of judgment if you shine them out into the world? This position in the Yule tarot spread is a reminder of your gifts and a gentle nudge to embrace them and share them with the world. So, what do y'all think about that? Are we ready for the mid-episode reading? Let us do Yule. So, let me update this and put it up there. So, to be considered for a live reading, drop the word Yule into the chat and I will add you to the picker wheel, and then we're going to go ahead and spin the picker wheel and people are going to win. And don't worry about last week's winners, because there was no last week's winners because I was having debilitating cramps and we had to end the episode without a mid-episode reading. And I thank all of you that was watching live last week and allowed me to do so, because you might have seen me turn white as a sheet, which sometimes happen when I have uncomfortable and painful cramps. My husband, Mr. Tarot by Hilary, has seen it happen. He's just like, oh, honey. Like, he knows it right away. So Katie has said Yule, so I will enter you into the picker wheel. Eli, if you're still here, go ahead and write the word Yule to be considered for live reading. Sophia, if you're here, write the word Yule to be considered for a live reading. Picker wheel, picker wheel. And I'm going to grab my trusty water and also grab a deck too. Move that over, grab a deck, try not to trip over my wires. All right, I have my deck. I will give it another minute. And if we have no takers, I won't have to spin the wheel because it'll be Katie that gets the reading. And while I'm waiting, I'm gonna God, just the evolution of my hair is just hysterical to look at. while I'm sitting here, I'm prepping the next video. All right, I'm going to give it till speak now or forever hold your peace until next week. All right, it looks like Katie's got it. So Katie, go ahead and think about, I don't know, think about those themes. Honestly, think about those themes that are coming up for you at this time, because we usually set this against a question. But this is the kind of reading that doesn't really require a question, I don't think, because the positional meanings are so powerful that I don't think we really need a question. Katie, if you agree, please let me know. And let's just see what comes up for you for rebirth, midnight, and gift. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. Yeah. So Katie's asking, what can it tell me for the coming year is what I was thinking, and I agree. Okay, cool. So we're thinking about that. Katie, what can it tell me for the coming year is what we're thinking, and we're just going to think about that. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Okay. And I'm using the reflective tarot for you. So rebirth, number 1, midnight, number 2, and the gift, number 3. Now it's interesting that the gift card that's coming up for you is traditionally like a not so great card. So that's sometimes interesting when we read with positional meanings and we get like a card that doesn't seem to fit. So, or not, it doesn't seem so nice, I guess. And I'm gonna like jump right ahead to that first because I'm just gonna let you know it's the Three of Swords that's coming up for your gift. So the cards that are coming up for you for midnight. So I'm gonna try and do, I think a split screen would work best for this. Yes. Yes. Okay. So for you, rebirth is the Hanged Man reversed. Interesting. For midnight, number 2, you've got the Ace of Pentacles, also reversed. And then for the gift, you have the Three of Swords upright. So I'm going to go back to those positional meanings as described by Ethany. So rebirth. What does rebirth mean? Whether it's the rebirth of a sun god or the dueling holly and oak, this position in the Yule Tarot spread is about your personal rebirth. What is being awakened in you after a long slumber, and what is going to be gaining momentum as the days grow longer. So having the Hanged Man reversed for the rebirth, I think makes a tremendous amount of sense. I think things are not going to be hanging anymore. Things are not going to be so paused anymore because it really feels like lately you've been bending over backwards and putting yourself into awkward positions, not gaining a lot of traction and feeling very stagnated. And I feel with the Hanged One coming up reversed is a go, go, go. Like this energy of stagnation or stifling is not going to be as present anymore. And you're not going to have to make so many sacrifices in order to get forward momentum. So I think the timing is starting to sync up or will start to sync up with what you were planning. So let me know if that makes sense. Now, for the midnight card, the Ace of Pentacles is coming up reversed. So let me go ahead and close up the picker wheel since that wasn't necessary this time around. So midnight, the Yule is the longest the night of the year. What does darkness mean to you? Are you afraid of the dark or the darkness in you? It's meant for contemplation. What is in ourselves that we fear to shed light on? There is, with the Ace of Pentacles coming up reversed, it feels very like I'm behind. It feels very like scarcity mindset, comparison syndrome. Like this is kind of like searching your soul and contemplating and being like, how do I reverse this? How do I put this reversed card upright? How do I start to see the silver lining in some of these situations that have been happening with me? Because you know that you are capable of that. Like if you really were to look at the midnight of your life, you're fearful of how deep and dark it can really be. So, examine it, but don't allow yourself to be dragged down by it. I think there's so much more that is in store for you, especially with the Hanged Man coming up reversed. For that first card of rebirth. It's just like, remember the rebirth. Remember that first card when you're going through the midnight. Now, having the Three of Swords be the gift card is interesting. So let's remember what the gift card positional meaning is. What is your gift? Do you hide your gifts and talents for fear of judgment if you shine them out into the world? This position is a reminder of your gifts and a gentle nudge to embrace them and share with the world. And I think with the Three of Swords coming up, which is a not so nice a card, is you have this gift of vulnerability. You have this gift of bearing your soul. You have this gift of also being highly empathetic and seeing into other people's hearts as well. But you've been very fearful of it because with this great amount of compassion also has this great amount of people taking advantage of that compassion. So again, this gift card, go back to rebirth. Go back to the number 1. I think will help you understand your gift and help to like expand your gift, but not at the expense of your soul and being taken advantage of. So I know that you said that makes sense, and I was hoping for that for the Hangman reverse. So I think that was for number 1. Does the rest of it make sense for 1, 2, and 3, rebirth, midnight, and gift? And do you have anything to add? And by the way, if you didn't win the reading, or if you're watching the replay, you could totally do this tarot spread for yourself. I've made the information available, and it's available on Ethnia's website. Awesome. So Katie says that makes heaps of sense. Yes, the rest does make sense. Cool. Cool beans. Well, I'm happy to help you, and thank you so much for participating in the mid-episode reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope those of you who are watching the replay and feeling left out, well, that's just your sign that you need to be here live. Because only live participants can be entered to win a mid-episode reading. Katie is also saying, I would absolutely agree with the scarcity syndrome because I have had lots of times without work and income. Yep. That's your midnight. That doesn't mean that it has to continue to be your midnight, though. All right. So thank you to Ethany, who doesn't even know that I did this, or she will. She might. Thank you, Ethany, for sharing that that spread. And actually, Ethany has a whole bunch of spreads on her website, and sometimes she'll do like full moon and new moon spreads to try out. I love those. They're so much fun to do. Oh, and Dina's here. Dina just got here. Howdy to you too, Dina. Welcome. So we just did the mid-episode reading, and we're talking about Yule. So we talked a little bit about Yule, and we're revisiting past episodes that talked about Yule. Katie says, and definitely being taken advantage of with it, being empathetic and a caring person. Yep. So that's like, it also kind of gives you a sense of like, Three of Swords doesn't have to be a negative card all the time, especially if it happens to be in a positive position in a spread. And this can be what makes it tricky for people to read spreads, which is why I encourage people to make it simple at first. Like if you're not sure about it, like pull one card, no position, one card, then two cards, see how those two cards interact with each other. Okay, then see how those three cards interact with each other, and leave the positional stuff out of it until you're ready to add that in, because it should be helping to clarify, not make it more confusing. So Katie says, thank you for that reading. I really appreciate it. You're very, very welcome. And now back to your regularly scheduled live stream. By the way, that just reminds me to let everyone know that a new podcast episode came out this morning for the Tarot by Hilary podcast. And it is another one, recording of the live Q&A show, which is the second live Q&A show. If you're wondering how to participate in the live Q&A, it happens every first Thursday of the month. And the next one is going to be, I believe, January 5th at noon Eastern Standard Time. Let me just double check my calendar to make sure I'm giving you the correct information. Yes, Thursday, January 5th. And I already see that some people have signed up to be there. And you can sign up to be there too by going to my website, tarotbyhilary.com/podcasts. And you can find the information then and get a reminder. That way you'll get the Zoom link, you'll get a reminder, you can put it on your calendar. It all is synced in and works. It's kind of like it's an integration that's in my regular scheduler for appointments, but it's completely free to attend the live Q&A call-in show. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and sign up for the next session or the next 7 sessions. I've got them booked out until July. So like every first Thursday of the month, 99, like 100 spots are available. So it's just like plenty of room to go and put that on your calendar and get a reminder. So, but the reason why I'm mentioning the podcast episode is because I was getting annoyed that there was just like, I want an ad break. And it's just like, I want a sponsorships. I want this, I want that. And it's just like, I'm going to create my own for my own stuff. Like, why can't I do that? So, and it kind of made me laugh. So I included one of my own. It was like a 20-second spot where I advertised that gift certificates are available on my website, tarotbyhilary.com. And I was just like, And also my first book, How to Read Tarot from Flame Tree Publishing, is available now. And now back to your regularly scheduled podcast. And then I just intercut it between questions. And it makes me like, it brought me so much joy to record it and to like have a little like sound behind it. And I'm just like, why not? And it's just like, this commercial break or this ad break is sponsored by me. It's me. It just cracks me up. I don't know why it cracks me up, but it's just like, why not? It's my podcast. I can do what I want on my own podcast, right? Anyway, let's get back to Yule. So, but I had there were several topics that came up. There was, let me see, can I share audio in here? I think I can. I'm gonna look. Podcasts. Recently added. Oh, no. Alphabetical. Let's see. Where is my own podcast? Yeah, so that particular episode is about 35 minutes in length, I think. I don't think I can share episodes. An experiment. No, it won't work. Trying to get too fancy does not work. I wish I could share audio. I probably could if I like downloaded the episode. Anyway, it's fun. It's cute. Oh, actually, I could probably do it by sharing. I know how to do this. Cancel. Let's see. Get fancy with it. Not too fancy, but Chrome tab, this, and share tab audio. Let's try. Not now. Bear with me. Let's see if people can hear this. You are listening to the Tarot by Hilary podcast. I am Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friend, you have intuition. Not a complete opposite of the upright need. 2-card combo. Okay. Thank you for asking. But like the crux of it is you don't have to read with reversals unless you want to read with reversals. And everyone has a different way of reading with reversals. And the fact that you have an entire book on the subject, that will give you like more information. And also I think I do cover, oh gosh, I hope I covered reversals in my book, How to Read Tarot. But if I didn't, if I did, I think I just gave a little paragraph to it. It's just like, hey, by the way, you don't have to read with reversals if you don't want to. Yeah, I think it's in here somewhere. So don't want to waste the time of the podcast or whatever finding that. But yeah, I would say, don't worry so much about reversals if you're not feeling them or if you're not drawn to reading in that way. But if you are,
keep it simple at first and then start to add on. But good question.
That makes sense. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Yeah, I'm looking. I'm not seeing, but I'm looking, but I don't know where in the 128 pages I said that, but I think it's in there somewhere. All right, awesome. Any other questions? Here's the ad break. And now a message from our sponsor, which is me. It's me. Are you stumped for a holiday or Yule present? Give the gift of clarity with a tarot reading. Gift certificates are available at tarotbyhilary.com. And have you picked up my book yet? How to Read Tarot from Flame Tree Publishing is available now. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled episode of the podcast. So there you go. I'm a nerd. I know. And for those of you who are asking questions for the tarot, you're more than welcome to book a reading with me, tarotbyhilary.com. I have already done the mid-episode reading for tonight's episode. So you're more than welcome to book a reading with me and, pay me to answer your questions through the magic and the power of the tarot. tarotbyhilary.com. Please and thank you. So we have already looked at one episode of Yule. Let's look at another episode of Yule. And I'm going to go ahead and do this and see what past purple-haired Hilary had to say about Yule. But it is another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friend, don't argue with me. You have intuition. I firmly believe that everybody has intuition. So on tonight's episode, before we wrap up the month of December, because there will be no show next week on Friday, December 25th, we are finishing up not only the month, but the year with a workshop on Yule, which is, skip ahead, what I celebrate. Wonderful, beautiful Scorpio Sea Tarot by Maggie Stiefvater with text by Melissa Sinova. You may recognize Melissa Sinova's name because she is one of the co-hosts of the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast. They're for today, for Saturday, and for Sunday. This is not the right time to get into a war, negotiate a deal, or try to force an issue. Wait until group work, both online and off. So, especially with the holidays coming up. So, we are going to talk a little bit about Yule this episode. And remember, so Yule, what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about from my own perspective. Some of the traditions that I do with my coven, with my pagan community. As always, in the immortal words of my friend Ethany, take what works for you and leave behind the rest. Okay. Isn't that a cute widget? Yeah. I'm just noticing this now. So, isn't that interesting? I did not remember that I referenced Ethany in that episode. And we just did a spread from Ethany. That's kind of funny. Be Live just keeps on adding different features, and I really love it. Hold on a second here. Let me move up my sticky note widget. Oh, and Bridget's here too. Bridget, when did you sneak in here? Enough snow, LOL. Yeah, I mean, we didn't get really hit that bad here in southern Westchester, but actually, it's interesting. My where I went to college actually got trended on Twitter for the amount of snow, and
when I was going to college there, like we were in the snow belt, so it didn't really matter much. Like classes were almost never canceled due to the snow. So I think they got like,
Let me skip ahead.
41 old, no accidents. Yes, this is a safe version of going to be tied to the season that they're associated with. So, for example, in the southern hemisphere right now, we are at the opposite point in the wheel of the year because seasonally speaking, they're not where we are. So it wouldn't make sense for them to be celebrating Yule at the same time that they are celebrating their summer months. They're probably celebrating midsummer right now, such as Beltane, such as Litha.
I'm pretty sure it's Litha.
I think with Yule, I believe they're celebrating Litha right now, if memory serves. If you're from the southern hemisphere and you're watching this right now, please go ahead and correct me, or correct me whenever you're watching it. I make mistakes too. So
Katie is saying, I do miss your Tarot by Hilary tree. Well, that's my logo. My logo is not going anywhere. And if you happen to watch episodes like this on the Tube of You, I have my logo in the lower right-hand corner for all of my videos, or all of my long form videos. So don't you worry about the Tarot by Hilary tree. That's my logo. It was made by Sarah Summerfield, I believe was the artist that made my logo. And it's not going anywhere. In fact, I should probably pull my my 5x7 table sign and put it behind me, so at least I can show you guys some of the things, some of my signage that I added to my repertoire for events. Yeah, so it's not going anywhere.
They're experiencing the opposite season right now. So it wouldn't make sense for them to be celebrating the same Sabbath as the Northern Hemisphere. Does that make sense to everyone? Let me know in the chat. So for winter, winter is the season of rest and withdrawal. Again, citing from The Real Witch's Craft from Kate West. This is the time of reflection and of turning inwards. Our thoughts are more often of our hearth and home and of our near and dear. These energies can be used to enhance aspects of review, rethinking, and renewal. Carry out self-assessment and work divination to determine your direction for the year ahead. Work magic to help those around you to make the best choices and decisions. While there are not many spells which can wait for the right season, seasonal influences can be harnessed for the more long-term, life-changing magics we want to work. We can also use the energies of each season to empower a magic if we design the spell with these energies in mind, perhaps by putting the emphasis of the spell onto the aspect most suited to the season. So that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's the same kind of concepts of astrology. You want to work with the astrological influences that are happening currently rather than working against them. This is the reason why I say Mercury retrograde gets a really, really bad reputation, because people are just like, oh, does that mean I can't do anything or go anywhere or get some forward momentum when Mercury's in retrograde? Not exactly, but Mercury retrograde is a time of revisiting, recycling, renewing, reviewing. So it's almost as if wintertime is like the Mercury retrograde of the seasonal aspects. You want to reflect. You want to take stock. That is what the season is for. It doesn't make sense during a Mercury retrograde to be pushing forward, because that's against the astrology that's going on. Same thing for seasons for the winter. It's not a time to get up and go out there, because the season and the weather is like blanketing the snow. It's a time of introspection. It's a time to rest. I read somewhere that snow is actually a very necessary thing in order to renew the fertility of the land. Snow becomes this blanket of incubation and allowing the ground to rest so that when the spring comes and planting can happen, the land or the ground is prepped for it with the snowfall and with the thawing of the snow. That makes sense to everyone? So it's just like, oh, snow sucks. But it's like, no, snow serves a purpose, just like the winter season serves a purpose, just like the spring, the summer, the fall. They all have a purpose. Let me know if that doesn't make sense or makes sense. And actually, I actually have a very funny story about Yule and the goddess that came through for Yule in one of our rituals that we did for Yule. Let me make sure that I have, okay, my bookmark. So my community would hold public rituals. And in my community, we do trance prophecy. We have someone that is a trained seer take the chair and bring through a goddess. For some reason, we at Yule would do whichever god or goddess wants to come through would come through. It's almost like a wheel of fortune, who's going to come through for Yule. And oftentimes we would get signs of who would want to come through a couple days before we would actually do the public ritual. And so one year there was the goddess Hel came through, or Hela, and she was talking about fracking in her area of the world. And we actually looked it up a couple days later to verify, even though, you know, it's not nice to question sometimes, but at the same time, we kind of wanted to see, like, what was she talking about? What specifically was she feeling? And in her area of the world where she is worshipped, or where she originated from, we did find out that there was fracking going on in that area. And she was talking about, like, my earth is being broken open, like you're breaking me open. So it had a very specific reason why she came through at Yule, because there were efforts to frack on her land and harm her land. So she came through during Yule. Another time, and this is the reason why I want to emphasize the Sabbats are connected to the seasons, is because we were... there are certain Sabbats that are tied to certain goddesses. Now, my goddess that I'm in training to become a priestess of, Bridget, her time is in bulk, which is usually around February 2nd. She came through during Yule, and that happened to be a very, very warm December. So that made me think she's waking up early. She might think that it's Imbolc right now because it feels like Imbolc right now. It feels like the spring is the world is starting to awaken, much like it would in the spring. I think she might have been fooled by the weather that we were having. And the weather that we were having was happening because of humans' impact on our earth, on our environment. So that's another example of Sabbats tied to seasons. Yep, great. Great. So let me just display that. Makes sense to me. Nature works together for definite. So, okay. So for Yule, Yule typically happens around the 20th to 21st of December. Sometimes the date will change, but it's around there. December, the winter solstice. This marks the moment when the days begin to lengthen and the nights to shorten again. It is the time of the rebirth of the sun. Whilst in many parts of the northern hemisphere the temperature is still dropping, this is nevertheless a time of reborn hope and optimism. The energies of this festival can be used in magic for changing entrenched habits and attitudes. So you can feel the sense of the new year within Yule. A remnant of this can be seen in the New Year's resolutions, which are made today. And that's all said about Yule right here. So Even if you do decide to use the Sabbath's energies in your magic and spells, it is also worth making a point of using them as times of reflection on the passage of the seasons and on each festival's place in the wheel of the year. Like there are eight Sabbaths of the year, seasonal festivals, and they were times of celebration rather than for working of magic. However, you can still incorporate spells and magic. Having said that, many witches prefer to keep their Sabbats as times of renewal and reflection, only working magic at them when it is really essential. So it truly depends on you and the energy that you're feeling at this time of year as well. The Sabbats are divided into two groups, the major Sabbats of Samhain, Imbolc, Beltane, and Lunasa, and the minor ones, which are the spring and autumn equinoxes and the winter and summer solstices.
So this is a minor.
The former are linked to agricultural cycles and would originally have been timed by events in nature. Later, they were assigned dates, but as these were in the old calendar, they would have fallen some 11 days earlier than the ones we now use. The latter are associated with the movements of the earth around the sun, and while they have been given set dates, which I've included, if you intend to use them for magical purposes, it is better to seek their actual time.
So to seek their actual timing, you would reference something like a farmer's almanac, or you could easily do an internet search and find out when the winter solstice is during your time zone, because you can get really exact.
Timing, which I have somewhere in my pile of books, but I wanted to emphasize this because
so I'm referencing in this portion of the video 365 Tarot Spreads by Sasha Graham.
December 21st, she gives a Yule 4 Sacred Directions spread. The Yule log is burned on the eve of the solstice. Pagan goddesses were once worshipped in the log, later incorporated into fertility and protection spells. So you can use ashes and charred bits of wood were kept until the following year. So you can take a little bit of that from the Yule log and work it into your spells, and also keep it for burning in the next Yule log in the following year. So it's like almost taking the energy of that Yule log, putting it into the new Yule log, and having it being a cycle of renewal. So this Yule Forge Sacred Directions spread is based on the Wheel of Fortune card, because the 4 cardinal directions are seen in both the Wheel of Fortune card and the World card, where creatures are depicted in the 4 corners. So Yule occurring between December 20th and December 20th or the 22nd. So like I said, you don't really know which date it is until you're looking at the year or looking it up. But I believe it falls on the, I know my coven is celebrating it on the 20th this year. We originally, there we go. Can you see that? Let me know if you can see that. (2020) before moving into the next year. I mean, like, there's a lot of people that 2020 has been a dumpster fire for them this year. For me, I mean, it's been bad. I'm not gonna lie about that, but at the same time, I haven't lost, like, knock on wood, I haven't experienced some loss that comes with 2020 and the pandemic. I still have a full-time job. I still have money to spend on presents for people. They're probably not going to come in time, but that's okay because the mailing system is pretty packed right now. But there's so many things to be grateful for, and I don't want to minimalize or make people feel like 2020 was a great year, because I don't believe that. But at the same time, if you're watching this right now, you're probably in a pretty good place, much better off than a lot of people in the world. And so that attitude of gratitude, it still can be there. It still can be affirmed. And, I'm not going to say it was a great year, but at the same time, for 2020 for me was definitely not the worst year in my life so far. So, but now when I'm lighting candles for ritual or just lighting candles because I want to light a candle in my living room, I would just light from the tapers. I would light the taper and then I would light the candle from one of these.
So I wanted to add in here, I'm going to go ahead and pause there, referencing the tapers. So that's another tradition that we do in my coven. We're likely going to do that tomorrow as well, where we will take white tapers and we will light them off of the altar candle, and we will light them from hand to hand, from wick to wick, all around the circle. Sometimes we'll do it in like a circle, like an outer circle and an inner circle, and then the people that are in the inner circle turn outward to the people on the outer circle. And then we light from hand to hand in this like kind of diagonal crisscross kind of pattern, so that when they are lit, the entire room is filled with light, and the light is filled from those individual tapers. And it is a sign of the coming sun, like from the longest night comes longer days ahead, and also a reminder of the spark that each of us have during the winter, and a reminder that it's just like we have that spark, and kindle your spark and don't lose that spark, and remember that you can light this at any time to remind yourself of the spark of passion or drive or warmth, even in the coldness of winter.
These tapers. So in doing that, you're bringing that energy through the year, and you're reinforcing that energy through the year as well. So I'm seeing that some people are having lagging issues on Facebook. For that, I apologize. It all looks fine to me. But if you want to tune in over YouTube, that's a suggestion that Katie's giving. So I'll pull that up here. Hold on.
It's interesting that the lagging issues.
Yeah, I'm experiencing a little bit of lagginess too. Maybe it's because of the snowfall widget. I don't know. It's super cute, but it might be causing lagging issues. So let me turn that off. So here's Katie's suggestion. If you're having issues,
hopefully those
pull it up
issues
on
are not
YouTube where it's working fine.
2 years later.
YouTube channel is YouTube user Hilary_tarot. That's Hilary with 1 L. But we're almost done with the workshop. So that's another example of a tradition that we do in my particular community. Also, food. So I have a couple of recommendations for books that you might be able to get. I don't know if you're still able to get these 2 books. And
that's true.
If you can't, my apologies.
Thankfully.
But you should look into Dawn Hunt, whose company is Cucina Aurora. So she's very much a kitchen witch, and she has a company that does different spoons, cutting boards, and different oils that are infused with magic. So we have, we actually bought one that's like rosemary, and I think it's for prosperity. So I think you can just look it up, Cucina Aurora. Actually, I'll look it up for you and I'll put it into the chat. Dina's here. Hi, Dina. It's okay that you're late to the party. It's fine. That's what the replays are for. Don't worry about it. So this is one of Dawn's cookbooks, Cucina Aurora. So that's the name of her company, Cucina Aurora, right there. And I will put the link into the chat, but it's just cucinaaurora.com. So this is the collection from one of the first collections she did. But she starts off with winter. And talks a little bit about kitchen witchery. So although Although we want to celebrate the goddess by doing ritual barefoot outside every night, our lives tend to get in the way. But no matter what, we will all make time to eat. Kitchen witches are able to take this everyday necessity of food and turn it into ritual. By using the recipes in this book, you will see how to create celebrations of the goddess every day with the meals you create. So a kitchen witch is anyone who has ever said a prayer over a meal. She is anyone who has ever thought of the smiling faces of her guests when they taste the dinner she has made. He is anyone who has ever put love into a surprise meal for his sweetheart. A kitchen witch puts intention into the foods that they eat and share with others. And when we put our intentions into the foods we eat, we are thereby physically taking in the energies we have put out. So there's some recipes in here for the different seasons of the year. So she starts out with winter, though. In winter, the earth is sleeping. She wraps herself in blankets of white and crystal as she sleeps the season away. Our homes become those warm, comforting places in the cold of winter. With holiday festivities and gatherings around fireplaces, winter holds a quiet wonder that we can appreciate over a cup of hot chocolate. Think of the coldest night you can remember and how in your mind's eye a bowl of hot soup warmed you to your bones. This is what a winter kitchen symbolizes and embodies: comfort, warmth, and sanctuary from the frozen world outside. So recommendations for a winter kitchen: sprigs of evergreen on the windowsill, holly-scented candles on your altar, leafless twigs remind us of how the world is sleeping outside and helps us to appreciate the season. Candles, luminescent warmth. If you have a fireplace, light a fire in the fireplace. I wish I had a fireplace. So she has a couple of recipes in here, but with each recipe, she puts like an incantation or a note about the magic that goes along with these recipes. So like foretelling lentil soup, heart warmer sandwich, feasting meat.
I'm hungry now.
Sweetheart swirl cheesecake, Yule mint chocolate cookies.
Really hungry.
And I know my husband is not listening to me right now. Otherwise, he would have perked up on that. He loves mint chocolate. That's like one of his favorite things. So this would be like create a ritual around this ornamental frosting by asking children to help. Be sure to explain that the green is symbolic of the evergreen tree in the snow storm, adding color to the Yule season. So pretty cute there. Yule mint chocolate chip cookies. I'm taking notes here. So much of kitchen magic comes from how we feel when we are creating in the kitchen. In the winter,
yeah, Katie. Katie says, I was thinking the same thing. Those descriptions were making me hungry. Yeah, and I haven't had dinner yet. So let's see if there's any more in this video.
Our kitchen magic tends to revolve around the holidays. The smell of freshly baked cookies takes us back to a place when we believed in holiday magic of many different kinds. And especially in Christmas or holiday or winter traditions that are family related, they don't necessarily have to be magical or have that label of magic to be magical. You know, I mean, like there are some things that my family does that are tradition that can definitely be called witchy and magical. But if I use that label with some of my ancestors, like my grandmother, she would probably not be very happy with me, or she would be like, no, that's superstitious. And it's just like, but you're still doing it though. Like, for example, my family's English. So I'm first generation American. They always would give a horseshoe to a couple getting married. And they always, like, every single person. Like, and so now when I go to a wedding, I'm usually giving a horseshoe in conjunction with their wedding gift, or finding something on the registry. But that's just something we would do. Is it superstition? Absolutely, it's superstition. Would my family think of it that way, or think of it as magic? Probably not. But you know, it's a label. You don't necessarily have to have that label in order for it to be considered magical or spiritual. So Dawn also has this book. Again, my apologies if these books aren't available, but it looks like on the Kachina Aurora website, there's a bunch of stuff that is available, including some of her recipes and her oils infused with the royal court. So I'm going to go ahead and share that to chat, but thank you for the reminder. And also we have seasonal rulers usually that help in running of the coven during each time of year. So, and we always have like the winter queen or queer, or whoever's feeling the winter vibes. And then we also have the summer as well. So we have different royal court aspects depending on the season. And sometimes there are different people are different, feeling different ways, and it doesn't have to be like the holly king and the oak king don't have to be represented by men.
So I'm going to stop it there because we talked a little bit about that and I don't want to really repeat information. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that from source. And I found one more video, and I think this is the video that I did possibly last year, so 2021. So let's see what short-haired Hilary has to say. I have not gotten a haircut in like over a year, but at least the color is the color's the same now. Let's see. It is another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of Tarot by Hilary.com. All right, so some of the description that I had when we started. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was the autumn equinox. So hold on a second here. And also on the 13th, full moon in Gemini tomorrow, and Yule. So I've already quoted from that. So that book, The Real Witch's Craft by Kate West, already in this compilation episode of Yule episodes. So let's switch over because I'm pretty sure I talked about the winter solstice from Gabriella Herstick's perspective from her book Craft, which is called Inner Witch in the United States. So let's go there next. For the winter solstice, they can ask their questions, they can participate, and also it's almost like you're asking questions on behalf of the people that are going to be watching the replay. And of course, you're more than welcome to put in the comment section after we've recorded live any questions that you might have left over from watching the replay. But then I can't answer you on the video. So I have to kind of answer you in the comments, or take that comment and address it in the next episode, which I'm happy to do too. But I don't know, there's something about the energy of being alive, and that's the reason why I've been doing this for over 2 years, and it seems to be working because you all keep on watching. So, all right. What Kate West says about Yule. We already know. Skipping ahead. So Yule. And as always, I encourage people that are watching live to put in what they do for their own Yule or winter solstice celebrations, because Honestly, that's how we all learn. That's how we all grow. And you might find that somebody has a particularly beautiful or resonant practice that you want to try out. I'm sorry if you guys are hearing crunching and shuffling. My husband's eating pistachios right now. I don't have headphones in, so everyone can hear everything. It's okay. They just hear you. They might hear you crunching or opening up the pistachios.
I do have my headphones in for this, so that way you're not getting the echo.
Okay, so Yule, the winter solstice. So it falls roughly on the 20th to the 23rd of December. Winter is coming, but really. Yule represents the transition into the season, marking the longest night of the year and the beginning of the waxing year, where the sun's light starts to increase. The winter solstice has been celebrated in some form or another across the world for thousands of years. Stonehenge Circle is oriented to frame the winter solstice sunset. The winter solstice is a time for us to talk to our shadows, for us to lie in the darkness and talk to anything we've left behind. It's a day when we can honor the hurts we home in our souls and transmute them to lessons and medicine for the coming year. It's an invitation to turn shadows into light. I really like that. That's beautiful. So for decorating, and I know that Jessica said you're hosting a dinner for Yule, so you want inspiration. Here's some inspiration for decoration. This is decorating of an altar, but you can also decorate your dinner table, decorate your living space or where you're going to be hosting. Pine cones, herbs like mistletoe, holly, evergreen, ash bark, thistle, white and silver candles, heirlooms or talismans that connect you to your ancestors, a Yule log, and the Death Tarot card. I always like that association with the tarot cards because, I mean, obviously, hello, Tarot by Hilary live. Clearly, tarot is my main squeeze, and I always try and bring things back to tarot. But tarot can be such an easy way to connect with the energies of the season or the solstice or the equinoxes, because you have basically 78 cards with which to do things or decorate or put things or draw inspiration from. And honestly, using the Death Tarot card, we know death as transformation. We also know it as possibly a dark card, but it's usually the dark before the dawn. So it makes a lot of sense for the Death Tarot card to be here. But if you want to use a different tarot card, it's just a suggestion. You can always use the sun as well. Usually I will put the sun on my altar for the summer solstice, but since the summer solstice is the cross quarter to the winter solstice, we're honoring the return of the sun, the return of the light, the lengthening of the days, because it's the darkest night of the year. But after that, you've got the waxing year. You've got the return of the light. Okay, so Dylan has to run. Can't check on our Yule celebrations, but we'll watch the rest later. Sounds good to me, but it's all good. You can correct me in the comments if you'd like. Okay, so non-ritual ways to celebrate: spending time near a fire, read your tarot. It's honestly a great it's a great time of the year for like spooky, scary stories and also divination. And I mean, honestly, a lot of the Sabbats or the rituals or the celebrations, it's a great time for spell work, and it's a great time for divination. Many of them are great times for divination.
but you don't necessarily have to work spells. You can just honor the season or honor the energies of the season, because sometimes you just don't want to cast a spell. Sometimes you just want to honor what the energies are, or what the energies are you're feeling inside of yourself too. So read your tarot, do your divination, make mulled wine, play outside, buy yourself or loved ones gifts. There is a suggested ritual in here, which requires fire. So you need a fireplace, cauldron, or fireproof bowl, paper and pen, herbs like rosemary, rue, or cinnamon, palo santo, or sage, a lighter or a match. You need a safe place to light an open flame. If you don't have a fireplace or a fire pit, you can do a cauldron or fire-safe bowl. You can take a ritual bath with the salt, rosemary, and rue to help ground you, keep you centered, protected. Cast your circle, write down on pieces of paper whatever it is that you want to let go of in the next 6 months. Like a toxic relationship, bad living situation, negative habit. And also, this is a suggestion. You don't necessarily have to make it very witchy or very spellcasty or very pagan-y, but you could probably do this for your dinner as well, Jessica, if you want to, is to have, the pieces of paper and maybe light a fire or have it outdoors to light those things, ripping up the pieces of paper, placing after writing down what you want to let go of or what your guests want to let go of, writing it down, ripping up the paper and placing the pieces in the fireproof bowl, asking for guidance and messages from spirit, lighting the paper and gazing at the flame. So you've got a little bit of divination going on in there as well. As you're gazing at the flame, knowing that as this paper burns away, it's releasing your attachment to any old unhelpful patterns of behavior. And then you can sprinkle the herbs that you used, possibly in your bath or that you've burned. You can sprinkle the protection herbs like rosemary, rue, and cinnamon over into the fire, and imagining the energy accumulating from the burning papers as a cone of power extending from the base of your circle and tapering up over your head. This is where you're releasing your magic and energy into the universe, where they can do their work. And sense the energy leaving you until you feel settled and grounded again, and then close the circle and center yourself. And toss the cooled ashes to the wind as an offering to the universe. Again, be safe while doing so. Be safe while working with fire. You want to make sure you have water on hand just in case it gets out of hand. And you want to make sure you're not wearing your fancy outfits with long sleeves or whatever. Just be safe when you're working with fire. Take it from a witch. You always want to be safe. So that is the winter solstice. Now, I want to revisit the myth of the changing seasons. There's also different individual stories and myths for each of the festivals, which you might like to research further. So there's different rituals, stories, myths for Yule and winter solstice, as with anything else.
So this is going to be the last thing for our compilation episode of Yule. So I'm going to go off screen and let myself read that portion, and then we will move into the weekend forecast. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be back in a second.
But the changes, or the changing seasons, is the myth of the god and goddess representing and mimicking the earth's changing seasons, dying in winter and being reborn each spring. There are various manifestations that represent the forces at work. Some choose to honor these archetypes as deities. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because during our coven celebrations for Yule, we typically give honor to the Oak King and the Holly King in our coven, or in our, basically not necessarily just our coven, but also our greater pagan community that we've established. we honor the energies of oak and holly, and then in their many different forms, and it could be the oak king, the oak queen, the oak queer. So we tend to not label them as king, queen, queer, or it's whatever that person is feeling, the thread of that energy. So oak, god of forest and earth, the oak king rules the waxing year and defeats the holly king at the winter solstice. He rules from December, Yule, until June, midsummer. The Holly King, a woody version of Santa Claus, the Holly King is the god of the waning year who defeats the Oak King at midsummer. He rules from June to December. So, and then goddess, at Yule, the goddess gives birth to the sun god. So we usually refer around Yule time as that child of promise, the child of promise, the child of light. So you can see slightly where the celebration of Christmas comes from. And historically speaking, if Jesus was indeed a real historical figure, most historians say that he was born in the summer, not necessarily the winter. So we do celebrate Jesus's birthday, but it's a story, it's a mythos. So we're really celebrating at Yule that child of promise, the coming of the light, the rebirth of the light, the return of the light. Does that make sense to everybody? Hopefully I'm not offending anybody by saying that. But then again, if I'm offending you by saying that, you're probably watching the wrong video. So at Yule, the goddess gives birth to the sun god. At midsummer, she meets her son in concert, and they embrace so completely that their love mimics death. The sun god, according to the myth that threads through the seasons of the year, the sun god becomes the lover of the goddess, thereby fertilizing the earth and bringing it back to life in summer. At autumn equinox, he becomes known as the Lord of the Shadows in preparation for the darkness of winter. So, don't take this as gospel. Tweak accordingly, according to your personal beliefs. And also acknowledging the seasons. You know, there are secular ways of honoring the seasons without getting all deity based, because I know that there are some viewers that watch this mostly to celebrate the seasons and not necessarily are deity centered.
All right. Let me go ahead and hide that. So I think we have thoroughly done a really complete version of Yule. And this is probably going to be what I do in future for the upcoming Sabbats, is just revisit some of the episodes that I've already recorded for the Sabbats if I want to, you know, talk about them a little bit, or at the very least reference them, because it's just like, that's what they're there for. That's what the replays are there for. We have an entire Sabbat series playlist on the Tube of You. You can find that by going to my channel and clicking on the playlist. They're all right there for your viewing pleasure and delectation. And for those of you Southern Hemisphere witches, you can totally go there right now or right after this episode finishes and check out the Midsummer or Litha episode, because that would be for you because you're in the Southern Hemisphere. That would be the corresponding cross-quarter Sabbat, since in the Northern Hemisphere, we're celebrating Yule. In the Southern Hemisphere, you would be celebrating Midsummer. Make sense? Cool. All right, let me pull back up my sexy little overlay and agenda, because we are at the end of the episode. We talked a lot. We did the astro-weather. We talked about Yule. We did the mid-episode reading, and we used a Yule spread from Ethany. So thank you very much, Ethany, for the use of that. And now we are into the weekend forecast. So let me go ahead and put on that crawler.
which is perfectly aligned underneath my username. I like that. That was not an accident, by the way. And if you're tuning in just now at the end of the episode, that QR code, there you go. That QR code right there links directly to my website, tarotbyhilary.com, if you want to book a tarot session or an EFT session. Remember, I do have a discount available, Gala, for 50% off an EFT tapping session, because you won't know if it works for you unless you try it. So I'm making it even more interesting for you to try it out, and also a little bit more affordable for you to try it out if you've never tried out EFT with a practitioner before. Okay, weekend forecast. I am feeling drawn to giving you the weekend forecast from an affirmation deck. This is, I believe, the Super Attractor affirmation deck from Gabby Bernstein with artwork by Michaela Ezra. So I'm going to shuffle up, and we are going to see what the weekend has in store for us and what our best advice and affirmation that we need to tell ourselves going into this weekend. Ooh, okay. Okay. So I hope you all aren't thinking about having a super busy weekend. If you are, Saturday has a few, bumpy spots, as we talked about a little bit on the astro-weather at the top of the episode. Go back in the replay and watch that if you haven't watched it yet. But other than that, if you can, in stillness I receive. So you may need to take some time this weekend to be still, to be quiet, to do some meditating. By the way, if traditional meditation doesn't work for you, try a tapping session. Try looking up a free tapping video online and substituting that in for a traditional meditation practice. It might work for you a little bit better because it has the marriage of doing something physical and also speaking out loud. You can get to almost like this meditative state when you do tapping sometimes, and some people actually do tapping instead of meditation. They almost use it as their form of meditation. So that's like another additional reason to do tapping. But yeah, you might want to just be still this weekend. Bake in a little bit of time for rest and relaxation this weekend. You can't go all the time, because if you're going and going all the time, you won't be able to hear. You won't be able to, like, if you're not still, you won't be able to hear the little voice of intuition speaking up. You might not be able to, really be in tune with what you want or what you need right now if you're always go. So in stillness I receive is this weekend's weekend forecast. So I hope that helps you. I hope that serves you. I hope you learned a lot about the Sabbath of Yule this episode, because we had 3 years worth of Yule knowledge thrown at us in one big mega episode. And you are very free to watch all of those different Yule workshops in turn, in full, on my Tube of You channel or my Book of Face watch section with the videos. There are replays available. So watch those in part or in full at your own leisure. And Katie is saying also we are coming up to the Christmas week where it will be very busy, so we need the rest beforehand. That's an excellent point, Katie. Excellent point. And I here's another thing. In stillness I receive. Here's a really quick tapping. This is just go with it. All right. So side of hand, just tap on the points that I do and repeat after me. Okay. Rest is productive. Rest is productive. I don't have to go all the time. I don't have to do all the time. I am completely worthy and deserving of my existence.
even and especially when I am resting. Top of the head. Rest is productive. When I make time for rest, I make time for peace. When I make time for peace, I make time for relaxation. When I make time for relaxation, I make time for my intuition. Because my intuition cannot speak any other way. Sometimes it's a very tiny whisper. And I need the rest to be calm and hear those whispers. And when I hear those whispers, it's under the arm, I feel more in tune with myself and more in tune with my body. The holiday season can be tough, but that's not the point of the holiday season. And I want to give myself the rest and the joy so I can really absorb the underlying message of the holiday season, so that I can spend time with my loved ones, not caught up in silly debates, not here for any arguments and no drama, perfectly peaceful and happy and calm, and enjoying this bright holiday season. Deep breath in, hold it, and let it go. And drink some water. It's a really quick tapping for you. Really, really quick tapping for you. And if you want more tappings from me, I'm also working on more tappings. The one that I'm working on right now is resting, rest and sleep, and resting or calming down an anxious brain, anxious bedtime brain. That's the first one that I'm working on. So I'm going to try and produce that sometime this upcoming week, because I know that people really, really need that. So that'll also be on my Tube of You channel. So thank you very much for watching, Katie, and you have a wonderful weekend as well. And for all of you that are watching, thank you so much for watching. We do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we will be doing this again on Christmas Eve, I think is next Friday, the 23rd. And you're very welcome for that tapping. You're very, very welcome. It's my pleasure. And that's a little snippet of what you can have on a one-on-one session, but it can be personalized for you. So anyway, we do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And once again, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader and EFT practitioner, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, don't argue with me. You have intuition. Hopefully that little tapping will help you get still so you can hear your intuition. Yeah, that's it. I will hopefully see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, have a wonderful weekend. Remember, get still, rest. You're gonna need it. Okay? All right. See you next week. Bye.